Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to another edition of the Players Ball Podcast, where we cover all sports far and wide. I'm your host, Roddy. Be sure to go get us on Twitter at the Players Ball 1, the number 1, and on Instagram at the Players Ball Podcast. Get me on Instagram and Twitter at Roddy404 on both mediums. Sorry, I had a little lapse there because there's literally so much to talk about today. There's literally no motivation other than coming on here to talk our stuff. And Jude thinks that the Celtics, just because they're in the playoffs right now, that they're like some type of, they're back or whatever, but they're not. But anyway, we have our guys. Sosa, he's returned. Jude, you have returned, of course. And one of our original guests has returned. And he's returned not because his team is in this year's playoffs. They hired a good OC. They're optimistic about their quarterback. None of those three things have happened. They have actually royally screwed it up really badly this time. And Kyle's here to talk about it. So if you don't know what we're talking about, obviously Brian Flores is suing the NFL right now, alleging that the New York Giants basically hired a coach before they even gave him a chance to interview, violating the Rooney Rule. And also, he said that Stephen Ross would pay him $100,000 for every single loss that he had. So, Kyle, my first question to you is, bro, how are you feeling, man? I mean, that's the only thing I can ask. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like shit because this is the norm for the Miami Dolphins. This is nothing new for the Miami Dolphins. This is what happens with the Miami Dolphins at least twice a decade. So I feel like shit. I feel like I've been a fan of this team for no reason. Even though it's only been almost 10 years, I think. So 10 years of 10 years wasted, I think. But we're going to see what happens. I'm not looking forward to the decade to come, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel that. I mean, and Jude, with them being in the division, y'all have a lot of uncertainty as well, of course, but how does it feel? Your coach was implicated in this as well. Like, is this why old men shouldn't be using their phone to text and doing stuff like that? Like, they should just call?
Clearly. I guess Bill Belichick was involved. I think people forget is he used to be the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. He probably has some ties, some people who are still behind the scenes who are there. Brian Daboll used to be an assistant coach with the Patriots. So was Brian Flores. Apparently he got them confused in his phone, texted the wrong guy because he had some inside information on who got the job. And here we go. The Patriots fan in me, I want to see the Dolphins get packed up. But I'm a black man first. And seeing what's finally having some clear evidence of what we knew has been going on for years, and that everyone always try to give us a different reason when we're talking about it. Like, I'm upset. So this got to get fixed.
Yeah, bro. I mean, look, there's no use for the Rooney Rule. I mean, we all know it's really useless already, but to just blatantly see it out on Front Street is kind of wild. And Sosa, for you, like, how do the Giants even recover from this? Like, do they not lose all credibility as a franchise, just, with free agents, players just wanting to come there willingly, shit like that?
It's a two-way street, actually, simply because it's New York, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, people go there because you can make money not playing football. Yeah. So you don't necessarily have to be good. You don't necessarily, they're going to be able to offer you the most that you can do outside of the game and have the ability to thrive outside of that. That's why a lot of people go to New York. It has nothing to do with actually playing for the team. Yeah. Right. It's like the marketability that you get as a football player in New York is bigger than a lot of places, because let's be honest, they don't really care about football players in the majority of cities. They don't, because they can't see their face. I think that this is an organization that's never had a starting black quarterback. They've never had a black head coach. So it's not really a surprise. It's not something we've not seen before. We've seen them pass on candidates that were qualified in black, and that's what they've done, right? They have guys, they've had, black guys in the front office a couple of times, but again, at the end of the day, the Rooney Rule is in place as a obligatory interview. It's an obligatory thing. It's not a we're doing it because you're qualified or you're the best candidate or because we believe you're a viable candidate. It's just because the rules are the rules, and we're going to hire who we're going to hire, as long as we just get you in the chair to have the conversation.
Yeah.
So,
and I just again, bro, just to see it on Front Street, we all know that these organizations are racist. These owners are racist. Like, these corporations are racist. They all care about upholding their standards. Like, that's just the basis of it. But when Stephen Ross is this reckless, with his actions, not only the mirrors, because let's just, they literally are ruining the NFL. Like I said on Spaces, they have the little competition, or the taunting rule, should I say. Mara was the top guy, in opposition, should I say, of Colin Kaepernick when he was taking a knee. So again, we're just seeing it on Front Street of these people upholding these white values, bro. And it's old, bro. It's tired. That's not what the world is today. But of course, you're dealing with people who, look, it shouldn't be, but
when they get asked about that, they say that's what the world should look like. Like when people ask them about the taunting rules, they say, "Oh, kids don't want to see taunting." But what do you mean kids don't want to see taunting? This is what makes the game fun. Mm-hmm. Like, you do it in Pee Wee, you do it in high school, you do it in college, and then you do it in the league. That's the whole point. You're having fun. Your emotions are high. You have all this adrenaline running through you. You're gonna have some antics, and that's the whole point. It's supposed to be a fun game. Mm-hmm. But when these old white men say, "Oh, this shouldn't be part of the game. This is what kids want to see," no, this is exactly what kids want to see, because that's what kids are doing.
Mm-hmm. I really hate being this guy, because sometimes it just gets annoying. But it's more or less I wouldn't call it modern day slavery. I would say maybe modern day gladiators. At the end of the day, gladiators were slaves, even though they might have all the accolades. They have the crowd showing up to watch the blood sport and enjoy it. At the end of the day, they're answering to somebody who their primary value is what they can do with their physical gifts. Mm-hmm. We got what do we have? We have a league with 70% black men giving up their bodies to entertain people and put money into the hands of a cartel of old white men. Period. Mm-hmm. How simple math would tell you that a league that's been in operation for 60, 70 years, however many years, that's 70% black. How is it possible that there's one black head coach and almost no black people at any levers of power anywhere in the league? Does that make sense? We know what time it is. Mm-hmm. It's a good old boys network that is. I'm a Patriots fan. Bill Belichick's son is coaching defensive backs who've done more on an athletic football field than he's ever done in his life. Does that make any sense? But Brian Flores ain't got a job. So we already knew what was going on. This is just some clear evidence. I'm hoping that something could come of it where we can actually see some change. Hopefully that we band together on this, and we can actually maybe shake the table for once, instead of having it be something that's in the news for a little bit. Somebody gives somebody some hush money and we walk away, because I really want to dismantle some of those structures. I really do.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. And it's depressing, man. It honestly is, to have a problem that sees no resolution. Yeah, it's just hell. But I did want to cover a little bit of Stephen Ross, because I know the Mariners are taking the most heat. They're the main ones. But since we have a sports handicapper here who is relatively newer to sports handicapping, but you know how gambling Twitter operates. Good God, I can't speak.
Yeah.
Bro, if they have evidence of this, just give people an idea of how huge this will be, especially with DraftKings now being official partners of the NFL and everything like that. Like, how is that going to affect everything?
Remember when JFK got shot?
No, I was not born yet.
I'm just saying, you've heard the story,
Yes,
right? Like,
yes.
kind of like, where were you when this happened? Type. That's pretty much what we're dealing with from a sports gambling standpoint.
Jesus,
I'm dead fucking serious. I'm dead serious.
I know.
Is it gonna be like
think about
gambling
this.
just became like a major part of the NFL's like financial structure like the past decade, right? So are we looking
the past 5 years?
Oh yeah,
past 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, and you know
so
why
are we
that
looking
is?
at
I hold on, but I explained why that is though earlier today. Listen, it's because gambling entered the NFL when the NFL started to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize the correlation. For the first 50 years of existence, the NFL and their owners did not pay any taxes. They were classified as a nonprofit organization. So when you have to pay taxes, how do you get a cash infusion back into what you're doing? Allow gambling.
Mm-hmm.
It's by design. It's not. This isn't like something that they just were like jockeying for legislation for. This is all continuously planned.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think about it, bro? Listen, the land on which the new Rams Stadium is built is a racetrack and casino.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Park Racetrack and Casino was torn down, and that's where SoFi Stadium was built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when California legalizes it, there's going to be a huge sports book that's right outside.
They got pro sports in Las Vegas. Do you understand how like unholy that even sounds?
Mm-hmm.
Once they put the hockey team was just a test. That was just a test. It was like, okay,
we throwing this bait out there.
We gonna just let's see what this does, right? They sell out every night. They sell like a show, and then you want to put the Raiders and oh my God, what you think the NFL wasn't gonna let them make the playoffs this year? 2 years in a row in that brand new stadium? Are y'all crazy? Come on.
Yeah. With Stephen Ross though, he's saying, oh yeah, take these L's for this 100K payday. What does that do for sports books? What's the outlook for that? Because can you go back? Can you say, okay, we've been doing this for the past 5 years. Can you go back and say, all right, well, we can't do this anymore?
It compromises everything.
Mm-hmm.
It compromises the integrity of the sport and product that you're giving to the people who are consumers.
Mm-hmm.
That is a sin. Like that is corporate sin.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Let me tell you this, man. This is
literally like it's unthinkable.
This is like emergency break glass. Like go find out everything about his family. Make him an offer he can't refuse. Type stuff, because this is something that will have massive reverberation. Like, you ever heard of like the Black Sox scandal?
Bro, it is this times 10.
Like
the Black Sox was outside influence.
If you're telling me an NFL owner, hell, Sosa's from Philly, so we had the whole trust the process thing going on, which is another thing like entirely. It's one thing to like tank and maybe not put your best players out there, put your young guys to do. It's another thing to say to go to your coach and say, I'm going to give you $100,000 for every game we lose. You can't do that.
Bro,
if they can prove it, and that's a tall order.
That's what I was just about to say.
Sell the team. Steven Ross will sell the team to be massive.
They just had a report that came out like 30 or 45 minutes ago that they will look at Brian Flores' bank statement to see if he did take any money. I doubt he did, but if he didn't, there's really not going to be a way to prove that Stephen Ross was giving out these paydays unless there's emails or text messages or recordings or something. But
he seems pretty confident in the
right.
Everything I'm seeing.
He's going on CBS Mornings tomorrow at 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern time.
He knows
he's confident as hell.
He's got a level of confidence that can listen. This man said, any person who says these words, I am gifted. That's all you need to know, bro. Those 3 words. Hey, listen, when I was sharing my ass off reading this, that man said, I am gifted.
His statement, I was like, bro,
I am
this
gifted.
nigga just dropped a bar, bro.
I'll fuck
He's
with him
not.
He got my vote.
Yeah. The minute after I read
you don't say that. You don't use that particular term
statement. You can,
unless you know.
Check on my Twitter.
Gifted by God.
Gifted by the Lord. By the way.
I am gifted by the Lord.
Brian Flores stand. Brian Flores stand.
Bro, he said he's not worried about his coaching future. He don't give a damn. This is burning bridges. This is burning books. This is it. He's anticipating this being. He's anticipating Miami having been his last coaching opportunity for the rest of his life.
Let me say this.
Let me go on.
And I don't know if that's the case.
He need to go on with Strahan.
Right.
Let me give you 3
have
things.
mad opportunities.
Hold on. Let me give you 3 things. So first, I was in a space with there's actually like a lawyer who she reviewed the whole thing.
Yeah, I was in that space. Yeah, I was.
Okay, and what she was saying was, it's gonna go before a judge. They're gonna try to get a judge to dismiss it. It's pretty much a solid thing that they're not going to dismiss it because there is evidence with color photographs of the text between Belichick and Brian Flores, where the judge's like, oh, there's something fishy going on here, so they're gonna like open it up and take a look. There's a bunch of stuff that can be like what Belichick is talking about. That's not privileged, so there's a bunch of stuff that will have to be submitted for discovery because now we got like an actual it's a class action lawsuit, by the way. It's not just Brian Flores. Brian Flores is just the face. There's a whole group of guys behind him who's saying I dealt with the same shit who are on this lawsuit.
Yeah, I sent a tweet in the space you were hosting earlier, Roddy, about like someone was saying there were 2 more coaches at least who are ready to come in and back this lawsuit. So it's gonna get nasty.
The last thing I was gonna say was the one thing she also said was she while there was some like evidence in the lawsuit, in that 58-page lawsuit, there is no way that he tipped his entire hand. So there probably is more stuff in the works coming that's going to come out that he has already. So
wait till tomorrow.
Whatever he said, this man is going to go crazy on air tomorrow. Like I not even half of what he dropped in that suit he's going to talk about tomorrow. Not even half.
They're going to get my view.
Oh, look, I'm going to be up at 6:30 a.m.
Yes, sir. I'm going to be up, nigga.
I'll be tuned in, brother.
Yeah. Hey, look, and this is the crazy thing, like just with the magnitude, and this is the last thing we'll say on it. This is going to be bigger than Cap, like the Cap situation easily, just because with Cap, it was more about politics. It's about opinions, but this is literally about, for lack of a better term, how the sausage is made. Like the legitimacy, as Sosa was saying, of the product. Pause. And it's just like I cannot imagine your owner coming up to you, inviting you to lunch on his yacht, and then you see Tom Brady walk up. Like, what?
This is why I was saying pre-pod that I'm looking at 5 years after this, that's how long it's going to take for any of this to like start to, for the Miami Dolphins organizations to start to look credible again. Because you're going to have, if Mike McDaniels doesn't take this job offer on Thursday, then we're screwed. Because Kellen Moore is probably not going to take it either. He can stay another year as the Cowboys OC, just like McDaniel will stay at the 49ers. After that, if you have to go get Vance Joseph, or if you have to promote from within, you're screwed for this coming season. And then after that, you have to try again with McDaniel or Moore. You may not get him after that. So that's 2 years down right there. Then you have to go through 3 years of another rebuild. it's not like nothing is going to be good for the Miami Dolphins for the next 5 years if we don't get a coach this week or next week.
Yeah,
Like
man,
this coaching search is screwed because of this whole thing. Not that it's Brian Flores' fault. It's Stephen Ross's fault from like point blank. But he has screwed the Miami Dolphins organization for at least another 5 years.
Man, Jude is trying not to smile, man. He's in there with such glee. He's like, sounds like
I mean, I while I hate the Dolphins, again, I'm always a black man first, and seeing I will never ever support or laugh at a franchise doing to a black man and their black fans what I just heard.
Yeah,
and
man.
while I might not necessarily agree with everything Brian Flores has done in his life. I'm sure some things will come out about the Kenny Still situation. We won't get drilled into that. What I would like to stress to anybody listening is you're never gonna have like a perfect victim. Perfect people don't exist. We all make mistakes. What we can't do, we got to be able to see the bigger picture, and we can't act like white people out here, because when what happened to George Floyd happened, all you saw people looking for skeletons, be like, oh well, he was a criminal, or he was this, or he was that. It's like, that's not important. What's important is that these people who have power need to know that they can't do stuff like this anymore, and that it won't be accepted. So I need people to focus on that rather than focusing on like small things that ultimately don't matter. I'm sure Brian Flores has learned his lesson now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So you were gonna say something real quick?
The receipts are the first thing I want to see. Secondly, I'm glad that I did not turn on being a fan of Brian Flores. I think we all kind of watched the end of the season and we were like, why was he fired?
Me personally, I was okay with him being fired for only because he's had 2 seasons in which we've had the first half started losing streaks twice in his first season and this season. So I'm okay with the idea of him being fired on a merit of his coaching staff wasn't very good with people he picked, and our record being so. I was okay with finding somebody else to just like start over. But with this information, this is not a valid reason to fire him as a head coach. If you're going to do it based off his record or his coaching staff, okay. But this is not a valid reason at all.
Yeah. No, 100%, bro.
And I like the fact you said that, because you're an actual fan of the team. So that's fair. I personally, we saw the team, and obviously now that we're learning, there was some level of like discord in between him and the ownership and whomever. And when you actually look back now on that particular job that he's done, it's amazing that they were able to win 19 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
If he was dealing with that bullshit the whole time.
And he was. I mean, true. The Brady thing goes back to 2019. So I mean,
he was. But I definitely think there were some mistakes on his part. Definitely some mistakes on Ross's part, and Chris Greer is just a fool. But like that's neither here nor there.
Hey, Chris Greer.
All this information that came out is insane.
Chris Greer, you better not get your little top hat out and your tap dancing shoes out. Be a real one.
You know he will.
Be a real one.
We are about to lose picks because of this. You know he will.
Be a real one.
Y'all about to lose more than that.
Yeah,
man.
That's why I said kneecaps is gonna get lost because
it's about to get ugly, bro. It's just gonna get ugly.
Well, I guess we can move on to a little bit. Well, not for Jude, it's not happy, but for all of us it is. I mean, because this man has been terrorizing us for the past 22 years. Tom Brady finally called it quits. Adam Schefter told all y'all niggas to consume a Frank. And that he's still that guy at his job. So Jude, to you first. I mean, you've been watching this guy like you said, since senior year of high school, like just you've seen it all. You've seen his plastic surgery. You've seen the wife change. You've seen the crazy holistic flexibility medicine. So what would you sum up
AKA
his
steroids.
career as? Yeah.
Okay.
Them good
So
steroids though.
I think when it comes to Tom Brady, the only career you can really compare him to, and like the impact you compare him to, is Michael Jordan. And maybe for some that might be, hold on, Sosa. I will make it work. Just you watch. The global footprint obviously can't be matched. Maybe some of the off the court stuff can't be matched. When you're talking about generating dollars, the proof is in the pudding. I was there. The Patriots in the early 90s, we were a poverty franchise. I'm talking about when you went to Foxborough Stadium, like when you talk about the bleacher seats, like they were like bleacher seats, like they were little, like you did rickety things and you would just sit on there. You could slide down. They were not full. I was there when we went 5-11 in 2000 year before. I was there for the 3 years of Pete Carroll, where we were like more or less a Midland team. I was there when we went to the Super Bowl, got our ass kicked, had Bill Parcells leave and take a future Hall of Fame running back with him to the Jets. I was there for all of that, all of it. I watched when we went from Tom Brady, we were a scrappy blue collar squad up until what we're now, where we're a premier franchise. Why I compare Tom Brady to Jordan? When Kraft bought the team, he bought it for $172 million. As of 2020, the Patriots are worth $4.4 billion. That's all off of Brady. That's all Brady over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if that ain't Jordan-esque, what is? You know? You're talking about, like, who knows what Burrow might do for the Bengals? You know, shameless plug. But what also I would love to talk about is, I think there's somewhat of a myth where people talk about Brady was like good in the Patriot system. And when I tell them, like, okay, when people say that to me, I'm like, oh, well, clearly you have not watched the Patriots play, because what happened was the Patriots were kind of the Patriots and Brady were at the front of a lot of innovations in football. When they first started out, they were a power running team that would move the chains with quick throws on like third down.
Talk about the camera phones. Talk about the advancement in camera phones and videotaping.
Then they moved, and then in 2007 they moved to the spread offense. The spread offense in the National Football League, they were the first to really innovate it using slot receivers on a consistent basis in like the modern era.
They were the first to deflate footballs too.
Oh, Jesus. Then after that, they moved to a double tight end, the two tight ends offense with Hernandez and Gronk. Then they were
how'd that turn out?
One went really well. One went really unwell, though.
He brought it up. I was just asking.
Yeah, okay. Then we went to a 3-wide offense.
I saw something on Netflix the other day. I'm a little perturbed a bit.
But I really think when you talk about both the financial impact, where the Patriots went from being like a poverty franchise to the second most valuable after the Cowboys, where we went from not being on TV at all to being known all across the nation and having people hate us. I think the impact is undeniable.
Real quick, by financial impact, do you mean first quarterback to have a wife richer than him?
Yeah, but you want to know what? You want to know what else Tom Brady did? Did you know that Tom Brady won more Super Bowls than Joe Montana played in divisional championships? Did you know that?
Jesus Christ.
You know that? It's a very interesting thing. And, even though Montana won 4 Super Bowls, Tom Brady played that. He won 7 championships, and that's more divisional. I mean, that's more championship playoff games, like for the conference. Then
but Joe made him count, so I don't care.
Just a thing. Just a thing.
Joe made him count though.
it's about efficiency.
Just a thing, my boy.
Kyle, now I want to get you in here because Brady has directly tormented your life for literally all of your life.
Lord Jesus.
How does it feel? I mean, he was been out of the division for 2 years, but how does this feel to see him go? Are you sad a little bit?
No, I'm not sad a little bit. I like Tom Brady after he left the Patriots because I know he's the greatest quarterback of all time. While he was with the Patriots, that man was a stain on my my fandom as a Miami Dolphins fan. I hated Tom Brady as a Dolphins fan. But once he left, I realized, you know what? This is unparalleled football. This is the greatest, arguably one of the greatest players to ever touch the football field ever. Like, there's never going to be anyone as good as him, in my opinion. Mahomes can try, but it's just not going to happen. Tom Brady is the undisputed greatest football player of all time, in my opinion. But while he was on the Patriots, I hated that man's guts. I liked it when he played other teams, though, outside of the division. But I couldn't stand his guts. And I'm not happy to see him go, but I'm not sad about it either because it has nothing to do with me now. But watching him play football was at least watching him play football on the Bucks was fantastic.
Okay. Not bad. I honestly, and I'll say this about him. I mean, like, bro, when you can have when you can split your career in half, really, if you
can split his career in
thirds,
you can split his career in fourths.
Yeah, that's
and still get him to the Hall of Fame. Maybe not first ballot, but you'll still get him to the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, of course. And I like to do it in thirds because the middle period was when he was the best. Like, that was the best version of himself. The years he did not win. And, after that, it's just like, okay, you come in. Yes. Is there luck with Russell Wilson throwing a pick at the goal line? Of course there is. # Tom Brady be getting lucky. Is there luck with you happening to play the Falcons?
The play before. If you don't want to cherry pick, you can do that. Don't play with me.
Like I said, # Tom Brady be getting lucky. Anyway, and just for, again, you to start off your career like that, I don't know if y'all have been watching Man in the Arena, but it just really displays like just the starter from the bottom type nature. I mean, at least as a player, not talking financially and all that jazz, but I mean, you saw him, like you said, Jude, build a franchise that didn't have any prominence. And you can look at the Steelers, you can look at Sosa's Niners, you can look at the Giants, like all of these key marquee franchises in the NFL. They're defined by multiple teams or multiple generations. But with the Pats, it's only one guy. And I agree. I don't like that guy either. Okay. Even when I lived there, I didn't really like him. Okay. But he's that guy, man. He's that guy. I'm sorry. Like, he's never going to be surpassed. All of you Mahomes, Chuck specifically, please. Oh my God, that's with his brother being who his brother is. That's probably not the best terminology to use, but he's not gonna do it, bro. 7 championships is literally.
Listen, bro.
It's not gonna be duplicated.
Listen, he signed that 10-year deal, and I was talking to my dad about this the other day. He signed a 10-year contract. He can get, I'll say he can get 4 out of that 10 years. I don't know if he gets any more than that. I don't know if he stays the entire 10 years, but I think he can get 4. At least within that 10-year contract, if he stays on the Chiefs, I think he can get 4. And I think that's pretty damn good in terms of who just left the game today. So
Tom Brady is a beneficiary of having an amazing coach, an amazing situation around him everywhere he's been. He was around an organization that was committed to building a culture and constructing teams that would compete on both sides of the ball. Okay. Just because he went there with some weak receivers, he had a GOAT kicker. I'm not lying. Is he the greatest football player ever? Not to me. I mean, I didn't get
real quick question. So are you talking about Tom Brady? Talking about Joe Montana?
best football player ever?
No, I was just checking because you're talking about like a guy who walked into a great situation with a great coach with a team.
I was giving him credit. I was giving Tom Brady credit for being a
I
beneficiary of all those things.
I was just asking a question.
I was giving him credit though.
So
I was just asking a question. That's all.
I was giving him credit. I was giving him credit for like you can't fault. Like I'm not faulting him for being a good situation. Just because he grew up in a nice neighborhood, that's not his fault.
I was just asking a question.
He didn't choose who his mother and father were. I'm just saying, right? He didn't choose to get drafted. The motherfucker was going to sell his shirts.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about Joe Montana with Bill Walsh and no free agency really. Jerry Rice, Roger Craig.
Why are we bringing up old shit? This is a whole different generation of football.
Ronnie Lott, the greatest safety of all time. You know, just to name a few guys.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to like Randy after Cross. Brady blew out his knee. They stopped letting you hit quarterbacks.
Well, that actually wasn't the Tom Brady rule. That was who did it happen to? Oh, Carson Palmer. Yeah,
it was both of them. It started with Brady before that ever happened. Brady. Don't do that. You just lied. See Roddy. That was a lie.
Sosa, Sosa, I love you, man. That's my boy. Sosa, you want to know what? Sosa got the personality. Sosa is a born salesman, man. He got the swag, man. He could just sell it. But unfortunately,
I'm just saying though, you
are good, but you're not better.
I love Brady. but my goat can't be doing UGG commercials.
Good, but you ain't better than me.
With the Uggs, I can't. Like, come on, bro. Like,
now look,
don't be mad at that man getting after a bag, bro.
Look,
he trying to secure some checks for his.
You know what? Though, like my ego would be fucked up if I had to watch Peyton Manning do all the Best Buy commercials. Like I get it. Like, but that's really what drove Tom to play till he was 100.
Yeah, he don't see
because
his family,
he never got the camera time. He wanted the camera time. That's what it was. That's what it was about. He wanted his ego to be stroked. So it's like now
7 years from now, 7 years from now, Tom Brady is going to be coaching the 49ers. 7 years from now.
No, you want to know what? I don't. While I will say this. I'm going to tell you this. I think there is a Hall of Fame coach out there who could probably be the best play caller in football if he felt like it. And it is not Tom Brady. If I'm being 100% real, it is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, that pre-snap, when it comes to being able to do stuff before the snap, nobody better. Where Tom Brady beat him was making adjustments in real time. Brady is more of a gamer, but when you talk about somebody who could be a great coach, Manning's your guy.
Well, yeah, when Peyton buys the Titans, we'll see.
You gonna buy the Broncos?
He could.
Broncos are up for sale.
Yeah, they're up for sale, but I think he wants something in the South. I'm just saying,
Louisiana boy, man. We already know, but that's enough of Tom Brady talk, man. I don't. This guy was in my division, so it's nasty. But shout out to him, great career, probably best of all time. But anyway,
yeah, fuck that guy.
I second that.
Forever.
Now, Jude, you said not making adjustments, and I'm glad you said that because as we go to our reviews of this past weekend, which is the third thing on our list, like we had two. Well, I won't say two amazing games because Sosa's here. But we had two football games, and they concluded the earlier one, the one that everybody's talking about, was, of course, Joey B going into Arrowhead, where a lot of people thought he couldn't go and winning. So I want to start with Kyle with this one. How in the hell do the Chiefs only score 6 points in two matchups in the second half with the Bengals? How is that possible with that offense?
I think it's nerves. I don't think they thought it was going to have to do that. They were going to have to go there. I think they thought, fuck it, Eli Apple, throw it, then throw it towards that nigga somewhere because he was gonna get cooked. I don't think they envisioned having to go into OT against the Bengals. I don't think anybody would have thought that the Bengals were gonna take the Chiefs in a game like this. So I don't think they had any idea that this is what they were gonna have to be prepared for. I think they played like shit the second half, I think, and I think they only scored 6 points the second half or 6 in OT or something. Not OT, but the second half.
No, 3 points in the second half.
3 points in the second half.
6 points total between the two matchups.
So it's like I think they just weren't prepared for the idea of the Bengals actually being able to compete with them. I think they went into this thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be, we've done this before. We're not new to this. This is the Bengals. They're not that serious.
Yeah, I agree. Jude, how about you?
So for me, I think, going into the game, I thought the Chiefs were going to win. I do think they somewhat choked, even though the Bengals did show up and make some great plays, make some great second half adjustments. I've been on the record. I believe in Joey B. I think Joey B is that guy. I said on Twitter, he gives me Brady vibes in terms of the intangibles. I think there's other guys in the NFL who might have greater tools, but those intangibles combined with getting being able to squeeze everything in terms of talent, squeeze everything out of that rock. Joey B ain't nothing nice, man. I think the thing that was really like hitting for me is what people talking about. Oh, like they're going to Arrowhead, like that might like get to them. I'm like, outside like maybe like literal crowd noise where they might not be able to hear. I don't see that bothering him at all. Like, I don't think there's any stage too big for that kid. Like
he embraces it.
Yeah, he
thrives in that shit.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is about that. So most times I don't say this. I'm not one to say it, and it's not hyperbole with me at all. I don't think it's a matter of if they win a Super Bowl. I think it's a matter of when, especially when you think about it, because the Bengals right now, they basically getting like market value for the play they're getting out of Jamar Chase and Joey Burrow. It's like, you're talking about like $55 million. Mm-hmm. The two of those two together next year, their cap hit's going to be like $17 million total.
Yeah.
You have to be an idiot to not be able to put a team around those guys that can win a chip. So, going into this matchup, we'll see. But Pat Mahomes, man, 9 times out of 10, he gets that done. I think that was just that one. He just kind of came apart. Boy Reek, shout out to Teflon Reek on Twitter. He was saying that sometimes when quarterbacks get discombobulated, they revert back to, what they were doing when they were like rookies. And he said it. Patrick Mahomes was out there running around like he was at Texas Tech trying to make a play, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
Straight up, like they choked, man. They got too cute towards the end of the game, and they lost.
Yeah. Sosa, do you feel like, we should be worried about Pat? Obviously, look, he's not going to be cheeks. Like, we know that. He's not falling off anytime soon. But with this team getting older, how do you feel?
People are really, I hear a lot of people after Sunday tell me about the Chiefs losing the game instead of how the Bengals won it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could call it a choke job. Yeah, they were up a lot of points, but Cincinnati made extreme adjustments in the second half, and they stayed disciplined.
Said they were a second half team.
Exactly, and they stuck to what the game plan was in the second half. Mm-hmm. They blitzed, then they understood where to pressure from. They never allowed Mahomes to. They did exactly what the Bucs did to him in the second half in the Super Bowl, which is don't allow Patrick Mahomes to escape in the middle. Do not allow him to step up. Mm-hmm. Make him beat you going side to side, preferably left. But if you can't make him go left, make him run. Mm-hmm. The back end for their defense held up extremely well. You have to give those guys credit. The secondary played well. Both their safeties played lights out football. They didn't let anybody go crazy. After the first half, like I said, they made great adjustments. I'm impressed, man. I was wrong as hell. I thought that Joey B and them would go in there, and I thought they would cough it up, but he's really that guy. He's built that way. He's built for it. He ain't no hub. He really.
Yeah, and
he's like
the
that.
thing I wanted to piggyback off of when it comes to like the discipline. So I do have some of my issues with Zach Taylor and maybe some of his conservatism on some of those plays where maybe you should go for it. And I do have a bit of a problem with them running the ball on first down every time. But those guys, that team as a whole is pretty well coached, man. They're very well coached. They're disciplined. The Bengals got a quarterback who's like a year and a half or like almost 2 years now into his career. And like a bunch of young players all over that offense. And then on the defense, they have a whole bunch of free agents. They were the second least penalized team in football this year, with a whole bunch of new guys and a second year head coach. They respect their head coach. That's not a small thing, man. We just saw the Cowboys come apart because they're not disciplined and they're not well coached in situations. So that's no small thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. And just with, like Sosa said, like on Twitter, bro, Joe's dad must have been serving packs in the 80s, man. That kid is just like it's rare that you meet somebody who's confident in themselves and like there's like no hint of like arrogance with it. It's just like, bro, I know what I need to go do. I know I can do it, and it's done. Like, it's not even a fact of if, maybe, when type thing. Like, bro, it's no, this is what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna get it done. So I don't call you crazy when you say you get Brady vibes, because that's how Tom is. It's like, okay, I mean, shit, this is what we're doing. Even if we look like we're dead, we're not. So yeah, I'm interested to see how they perform in the Super Bowl, man. I mean, with Jamar just being the guy that I told all of y'all stupidos back during the 2020 national championship game that, yes, Devontae won the Heisman that year, but that is only because Jamar was sitting out all year. And even if Jamar would have played, he didn't have a good quarterback, so he wouldn't have won it anyway. But I mean, bro, this kid is ridiculous. Like, just like you said, Jude, for that to be like 17 million next year, like you can overpay people. I don't suggest it, of course, but if you really want an offensive lineman, a tackle, a guard, a center, or whatever you need, like, you actually can go out and pay them now and have them incentivized to actually want to come to Cincinnati, bro. Like, imagine saying that. We couldn't say that for 30 years, and now people are incentivized to come there. It's kind of crazy.
Not to go too far off tangent, and Sosa wants to jump in. One thing I always try to like stress in spaces is like the business aspects of things, because while football is like important, the business aspects of things can absolutely like kill things. So the thing for the Bengals for years is that they're cheap. They don't really pay free agents. Their scouting staff is extremely small. They don't pay for like good infrastructure. They don't really have like a lot of like support staff like that. What a lot of people don't realize is pretty much all the 31 other owners, they have other things going on. Like, they own stuff. So like the team is kind of like a little like asset where if it's not turning over a profit, they're like, I'll be all right. It's an asset that's grown on my books. I'm good.
Yeah.
The Bengals for the Browns, that's their business. That's what makes them money. That's what they get money from. So they need to turn over a profit to get money in their pockets. So they kind of like have to be cheap. Where they're at a crossroads right now, where we saw what happened with Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer looked like a stud who's going to be that franchise quarterback for years, and he got injured. He didn't want to play there no more because they're cheap. Yeah. Now they have Burrow, they got Chase, they got Lucky. It's on them to invest, and maybe they could be that next franchise who they become marquee again. Like I just said, the Patriots were a poverty franchise once upon a time. I literally watched them go from a $200 million team to a almost $5 billion team in 20 years.
You also have to do the two things when you're a market like Cincinnati. You got to draft well, and that's number one. Everybody on the offense that's good is drafted.
Yep.
Everyone, every last player on the team that's good offensively was drafted by the team. All three of the receivers the tight end, the quarterback, and the running back. Every single one. You have to draft well if you're going to be in that situation. Mm-hmm. They hit on Boyd, they hit on Higgins, they hit on Chase, they hit on Mixon, they hit on Burrow. They didn't miss on any of them. Mm-hmm. That don't happen very often.
Ever. Damn near ever.
Short scouting staff, they whatever they did a damn good job of that. That's what people need to say. And also, the guys they did pay hit.
Shut up.
Trey Hendrickson hit. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's a home run. Logan Wilson draft hit. Bates drafted hit. Eli Apple paid him hit. You can say whatever you want about him. He gets beat. Everybody gets beat. But he's playing in the game next week in 2 weeks.
I was gonna make a point about that. I think if they're gonna go and spend money on anything, it needs to be their defense. I don't think you can turn the keys over to Eli Apple and Vernon Hargreaves. As much as I love Vernon Hargreaves, I don't think you can turn the keys over to Eli Apple and Vernon Hargreaves and think you're gonna be okay for the next 4 years. I think you do have to pay somebody on defense.
Both the safeties are good. Bates and Bell are both good.
Oh yeah, Vaughn.
They're really
good.
They
paid Vaughn too. They paid Vaughn too.
And they're really good too, bro. Like they're a very, very nice safety tandem. They're really good.
I wanted to keep Vaughn in New Orleans, bro. I was like, bro, I would rather just keep Vaughn and have Vaughn and Marcus Williams like that with Lattimore.
Can we also talk about how basically 3 Saints got those guys to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the three guys we couldn't pay, bro. The 3 guys we couldn't pay. But I'm not mad at it because Trey, it's this thing of, okay, you have a guy who's like a 6-7 sack guy, get fucking 15 out of the woodwork, and you have cap problems.
Ain't that how it goes though? Shaq Barrett signs for a minimum deal and then leaves the league and then gets whatever. That's we see that happen all the time with edge rushers. They have this one outlier season and then they get paid. It's the game. That's just the way the market goes. You know, Cliff Averill had 2 amazing seasons, got a shit ton of money. You know what I mean? All you need is one of those 15 sack seasons and you're going to get paid by somebody.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the business. It's the scarcity. But to close the chapter on that game and to, go to the next game, we're gonna let Sosa start with this topic, and we're not gonna put any stipulations on it. There are no borders, boundaries, or barriers.
Space, which you would never give me, by the way.
I did, but you didn't think y'all were gonna win anyway. So he already knew he was gonna win. It's not like we didn't see them get their ass kicked for 3 straight years, the Rams. So Sosa, my boy, the floor is yours. Just talk about literally whatever you want to talk about. Just
hey man, listen, I'm not discouraged or sad. I think everybody was expecting me to be heartbroken that we lost. I'm not. If anything, I'm just as right as I was at the beginning of the year. We're a really fucking good football team. We don't have a quarterback. There's really not much to discuss or argue or debate about. There's not really anything that we have to talk about. If in regards to this game, Jimmy Garoppolo did not play well. Kyle Shanahan did not make good play calls either. And we lost the game. Mm-hmm. Defense played lights out. You can't keep giving snipers extra shots. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because they ain't gonna miss the second time. That's why right after you drop a pick, Odell picks up 40 on the next play. Well, I'm sorry, he picks up 30 and then you go helmet to helmet, he gets another 15.
Yeah.
So it's I can't be mad at my defense. They battled, and something about this team that I think that which is very difficult to play with. This is extremely difficult. Imagine in your mental, you're playing defense and you're thinking every single play, I got to make a play because my quarterback sucks. Mm-hmm. I got to make a play. 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 It's every single player has to go out there and know that this guy is going to make decisions that are not sound. And we've won in spite of that every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he makes some plays here and there, but that doesn't make up for the egregious bad ones.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Missing wide open streaking receivers. Kyle calling why the fuck you sending in Trent Williams in motion and handing it off to the fucking fullback? I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear none of that fucking play design shit. You need 1 fucking yard. Stop being cute. Well, you did the same shit in the fucking Super Bowl. You twice, averaging 7 yards a clip against Kansas City. You want to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You're up by 3.5 touchdowns against Tom Brady, and you don't know how to fucking end his life, for lack of a better way of stating it.
Yes.
There's really nothing else to really be said, man. We lost the game. We gave him extra shots, and we gave him extra chances, and we didn't finish the deal. They did. Shout out to them. They're going to the Super Bowl. That's all I got.
That was a fake shout out, by the way. I don't know if y'all sensed that.
They whooped our ass, didn't they? They fucking beat us. I'm a fucking loser now.
For the next couple of months, brother, you're still winning at life. It's all right.
Game's the game. Game is the game.
Yeah, he was on his LeBron. Y'all have to go back to the lives y'all live in type vibe as soon as them clocks hit 000. But I mean, salute to the Rams for taking a knee and covering that 3.5, though. I mean, that was really the real victory in the game. But Kyle, tell me, is Matt Stafford finally gonna do it? Look, you see all the memorabilia here, and I fucking hate the Rams because I'm a Saints fan, but I mean, I just want to see my boy finally do it. So do you think he's going to do it?
I think he has all the necessary pieces to do it. It's going to come down to one of those like boneheaded mistakes where he just tosses an interception like while he's in the end zone, then it becomes a pick six. That's what it's going to come down to. I think he has the necessary pieces to be successful in this Super Bowl and win it against this Bengals defense. But he just has to keep his head on straight, because one mistake and this is over. That could be it for the whole game, because this doesn't have to be a high scoring game. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And one mistake, one pick six, one interception, one fumble, that might screw over your whole thing. So I think he just needs to keep his head on straight for one game. All he has to do is play calmly. One game. That's it. And then I think they have it in the bag. I'm not sure if I didn't watch enough of the Bengals this year to be confident in them in this Super Bowl, but I think the Rams can get the job done as long as they play smoothly.
Yeah.
Can I just ask one question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
If Flores got $100K, how much do you think they'd have to pay Zach Taylor to lose this one?
Dog,
1.5
millions. Nah, it's got to be like 3 mil, bro.
Because Flores could have got 1.5.
20, 30.
Flores could have got 1.5. But I think you need to pay Zach Taylor 1.5 to lose. I think it's worth it.
So you seen them screenshots of them Super Bowl tickets? Those are house payments, cars. Like,
$6K.
I know.
$6K for a Super Bowl. That's nuts. It makes sense, but
bro, I've been to the Super Bowl twice. I know. I sat front row when Brady beat Atlanta. I was there. So yeah.
Jude's life.
Yeah, like
I wish.
I know what it be costing. I know.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous, bro. Because
and when we played Atlanta, boy, shit was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was at that NFC Championship game when Cap came through and crushed the buildings, and my pops usually get 100 section seats, but he was like, "Nah, brother, we in the 300 section today." Because they really not playing about watching this game. They really want to watch it. So hey,
they do not play at all, brother.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be big. So he gonna have to get tens of millions. But Jude, I wanted to go to you because my thing with the Rams was that, look, bro, and I saw this during the second time that they played the Cardinals in a regular season. I'm like, oh, okay, you go get Von Miller. Maybe not because he's going to be old Von Miller for 4 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, it's the Von Miller and AD show. It's been that way for the past 3 games. So how do you feel about, just that defensive line going up against a bad offensive line?
I'm concerned. And Aaron Donald is the greatest interior lineman of his generation. You're talking about one of the best defensive tackles of all time. There is nobody on that line who can block him one-on-one. If they try to block him one-on-one, he's going to be in the backfield all day long. So on its face, they have to send 2 at him. I'm just assuming that off rip. That's going to create one-on-ones off the edge. Von Miller ain't what he once was, but if you give him a one-on-one versus an offensive lineman who's average or below, which is exactly what he's going to see in this game, he's going to be in the backfield all day. So they should eat. Another thing for me that's concerning is, for the Bengals, they've seen defensive lines, but they haven't seen a team with a single. What happened?
I said with 2 Hall of Famers. That's what
correct.
I was going to say.
With 2 Hall of Famers, but they also haven't seen a defensive line that has at least one good corner behind it. Jalen Ramsey can probably match up pretty well with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase can
Who's the second? Von Miller is the second Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's making sure.
I'm not putting Jalen Ramsey in the Hall yet. Von Miller, he's one of the best outside linebackers of all time, man.
No, he thought I was at the Super Bowl
when he won MVP. I was at that shit too.
Yeah, he thought I was talking about Jalen.
No. I'm not putting Jalen there yet. No. But
he was on block. Jesus Christ.
I think he matches up well with Jamar Chase, but I also think if they have him travel, they're just going to take him away from the middle of the field. They're going to attack those linebackers in space, man. That's what I think. I think that's the key to the Bengals winning. I think they should just throw the ball 60 times if they have to. Just keep attacking those linebackers. Hammer the weakness. But I guess another thing that I wanted to talk about. Sosa, don't get mad. I'm not gonna slander your team. Honestly, I think some Niners fans. It wasn't Sosa. I was in another space. It was a lot of doom and gloom in there. I think your guy's future is bright. Maybe that's. I love football. I love the X's and O's. I love to play it when I was still playing. What the potential that is there is, Doug, you're talking about like an elite offense, an elite running game. Like Kittle basically can be a tackle. He can be a split out. He can be split out in the slot. You can split him out wide. You can put him in line. And have him go down the seam. Debo, you can put him out wide. You can put him in the slot. You can put him in the backfield.
Everywhere.
Kyle Juszczyk, you can put him in the backfield. You can put him at tight end if you want to. You can put him in the slot. You can put him out wide. Ayuk isn't as movable as some of those other guys are, but he still has value. You add Trey Lance to that, who he's
our leading receiver on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like he's not as like amorphous as the other 3 guys, but he's still very good. Trey Lance, who you have to account for in the running game. People keep talking about like they don't know what they're gonna get. I'm like, Trey Lance was the number 3 pick in the draft. You telling me what you guys almost went to the Super Bowl where Jimmy Garoppolo played like crap for like 3 weeks.
Also, Trey Lance would be the unanimous number 1 overall pick in this draft.
He absolutely would. And my thing is, it's like, who cares about his ceiling? You're going to tell me that you don't think Trey Lance's floor is going to be at least as good as what Jimmy Garoppolo would give? I will bet any amount of money that the floor he gives you 49ers fans is what Jimmy Garoppolo gave you. I will bet that.
Vertical passing game. There's what?
Yes.
Man,
yes.
Listen,
I
can't wait to see it.
Yes, right now, the 49ers can only throw to like the middle of the field. Kyle Shanahan did not trust Jimmy Garoppolo to throw outside the numbers and throw deep. Trey Lance can do both those things, plus he gives you like run value. Right now, with that same personnel group that I just mentioned, you can run power I, you can go 3 wide, you can go double tight, you can do anything you want, and the defense has no fucking clue. They're always, you can create mismatches at will. Y'all.
I'm just praying he's not. I'm just praying he's not Josh Freeman.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if you guys are back in the chip or the Super Bowl in another few years around. And then the other thing too is you got a quarterback on a rookie deal, man. That's the most valuable thing in NFL football. Is a quarterback on a rookie deal. If he's playing well, you're golden because you got money to move around. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
They're gonna be all right, man. Look, I really am interested to see the landscape of the NFC next year, and depending on who wins the Super Bowl.
Actually, real quick, Sosa. I mean, I don't think you'll win next year, but I do think you will be at that Super Bowl. Because how about this? How about this for an early 2023?
I know who you're gonna say.
Lamar Jackson versus Trey Lance in the Super Bowl. How about that?
Sosa might literally he might buy field pass tickets.
Hey,
Sosa, I had those in Houston. Listen, if my team I said that was the only way I would go back to a Super Bowl. I would actually, the only time I would go back to Super Bowl is if my team is in it. And I was unable to go the year when we played Kansas City.
Yeah,
so
Mexico.
Yeah, I would 100%. I would 100% be at the game if we ever make another Super Bowl. That'd be the only reason I go. Because in my opinion, the game with Brady and Atlanta, that's the greatest football game ever.
Oh yeah, easily, bro.
It's the only Super Bowl to ever go to overtime, ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit crazy to think about.
So man. It's that for me, why would I don't need to go see another one.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Well, speaking of the Super Bowl, we are going to have full coverage all next week. We're literally going to drop an episode every day until the game. So be looking forward to that. But I want to thank my guys for joining us tonight. My boy, Kyle, Jude, Sosa, you see their information there. These are all their Twitters. Please go follow these young brothers. They are, obviously knowledgeable. And, you know what I'm saying? They're good people, man. So, again, follow the podcast at the Players Ball 1 on Twitter, number 1, and at the Players Ball Podcast on Instagram. Then go get me at Roddy 404 pretty much everywhere. Thank y'all for listening. We will be back again. Like I said, the fantasy football rankings will be out. And I mean, this is already a foregone conclusion. Sosa won. Jude is getting fired, though. Jude, you're getting fired.
Hey, I went last. You want to know what? I did it on purpose. I picked the team where I would want them on the field, not necessarily in fantasy. And I will say, I picked all. Lenny wasn't doing too good, and Aaron Rodgers was a bozo. But I will never apologize for picking George Kittle in anything.
Oh
never.
no!
Respect it. He went out swinging for you, though. He scored a touchdown.
That is it. Never apologize for picking George Kittle.
And we're gonna get Kyle in there next year too. He got to pick his squad. But yeah, man. Until the next time, we will catch y'all later, man. Peace.